So, Saul Canelo Alvarez gives an interview to the Ring Magazine. Make sure you follow the link if you want to check that out. We're going to be talking about exactly what went down and what his plans look like for 2021. Stay tuned. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and comment in the comment section below. What up, boxing world? So as I stated in the opening of the video, Saul Canelo Alvarez, the pound for pound king of the sport, gave an interview to the Ring Magazine, and in that interview he stated a lot of interesting points. He is looking to fight 3 to 4 times this 2021, and it all starts off with this mandated defense come February, and then he's potentially looking to re-establish May and September as his fight dates. He did make it very clear that he wanted to unify the 168-pound division, and that would obviously mean he would have to go after the likes of Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant. Of course, he also acknowledged a few other fighters, and we'll get more into that as we read this article. Again, if you are interested in reading the article, make sure you hit that description box and I'll leave a link for y'all there so you guys can read it yourselves if you choose to. He stated, "I've worked hard for this and it's a great situation to be in. It's a pretty simple plan for 2021. Fight for all the belts at 168 and fight 3 times, maybe 4. We'll see. I want to take all of the titles at 168. My goal is to fight anyone at 168 if they have a title. That's who I'm going to go after. The goal is February, May, and September. That's our goal for 2021. When asked about Triple G and a potential third fight, he did have the following to say: "I don't have to prove anything to anyone. I did my job already by beating him twice, and right now I want to stay at 168. And if Triple G wants to move up, we'll see what happens, if that's what the fans really want. I'm at 168 and I don't have to do any favors for anyone. I'm at 168 and our goal is to unify here. I feel good right now. I feel strong. I feel like I'm on my peak and I continue working hard. If a fight happens a third time with Triple G, I feel so good that I could most likely knock him out and do some serious damage." So Canelo is not throwing Triple G by the wayside. He is, however, making it abundantly clear that he will not drop back down to 160. And if Triple G is willing to chase that money fight and potentially avenge his loss, then he would have to move up to 168. And since Canelo is currently focused on attaining all the belts there, Triple G might want to make a name for himself or reach contender status for one of the belts that Canelo holds right now. In this interview, they also mentioned how approachable he has been as of late, and he stated, "In the past, it could be with the old promoter that I had. Maybe they may have said some things about me that were not true, false statements about the way I was or about my character, but I always showed love and respect to the media and to my fans. We all work together, the media and the fans, to make the fights. I love my fans." Eddie Reynoso also had the following to say: "We're independent and we could talk to anyone we want to right now, and we have some great plans for the future. The plan is to fight our mandatory in February and then fight again in May and in September. Maybe we'll look at Saunders down the line and then Plant. Our goal is to be the first unified Mexican super middleweight champion. We want to unify all of the titles and fight the best 168 pounders out there. Triple G is fighting at 160, but our goal is to fight at 168. Benavidez is a good fighter, but the only thing about him is that he does not have a belt. He has accomplished a lot in his career, but Saul is about winning all of the belts. We also don't know if Benavidez can reach 168 pounds anymore. There's no purpose to fight him right now." Eddie Reynoso also had the following to say about the Triple G fight: "Triple G can come up to fight 168, even though it looks like he can make 160 comfortably. If he wants to stay there, that's fine. That's his choice. But if Triple G or Charlo want to come up and fight at 168, that's fine too. We have no problem fighting anyone." He also went on to state that Canelo took a gamble in removing himself from the contract with Golden Boy Promotions, and he has not seen Canelo as excited as he was to be back in the ring after his recent win against Caleb Smith. He also stated that Canelo is hungry and he seems to have the same hunger he had before he reached the pinnacle of the sport. My thoughts on this are, at least he's acknowledging all the other names, all the other potential fights, at 168. And even though he did mention Triple G, it feels like the ball is on Triple G's court. If Triple G decides to move on up and try to avenge his loss, that could potentially be the end of his career, especially with how strong and powerful Canelo Alvarez has been looking as of lately, and Triple G has not been looking as well as he used to, and I think he's slowing down, especially being 38. I think Canelo Alvarez would most likely beat him in a lopsided decision, or he could potentially knock him out depending on what Triple G shows up. If Triple G is able to turn back the hands of time, then I think it'd be another good fight, but I don't think he has enough left in the tank to be able to take on an ever-growing Canelo Alvarez. The Caleb Plant and Billy Joe Saunders fight have always intrigued a lot of people in the boxing world. I think both fights will get made this year. I think Billy Joe Saunders will go first, seeing as how Canelo's team and Eddie Hearn have worked wonderfully up until this point. They seem to be getting along quite well, and I think Billy Joe Saunders is next in line for May. With that said, I think Caleb Plant will be lined up for September, especially because the fight with Caleb Plant was being discussed right before the Caleb Smith fight came into fruition, and the Caleb Plant fight ended up falling through. I think they will renegotiate depending on the outcome of Canelo's fight in February and May. That would get him the 3 fights this year and get him back those May and September dates that the Mexican superstar has longed for. I think a Jermall Charlo fight will definitely be a very interesting fight, but Jermall would have to move up in weight and test his grit against other contenders or champions to see how he looks in a new division. Does his power carry over? Of course, his athleticism. Will he look as fast on his feet and with his hands? There's a lot of questions to be answered, and I hope Jermall Charlo decides to move up if he is chasing that Canelo fight. I know a lot of people are claiming that Canelo's ducking Charlo, so let's find out. Ball is on his court as well. If Charlo's ready to move on up and chase after greatness, let's see if all his talents do translate over one weight division north. The last fighter that I want to talk about is of course David Benavidez. That he was acknowledged. Unfortunately for Benavidez, it doesn't seem like Canelo's team has much interest in him, especially because he does not possess a belt. But Benavidez should be a legitimate challenger and should be able to fight for the WBC belt, seeing as that was the one that he lost on the scales not too long ago. Hopefully Benavidez gets his act together and is able to make weight in a safe and healthy fashion and go after Canelo Alvarez to try to land that fight, because it would be a super fight before Benavidez' body forces him to move up to 175. I really hope we get to see that fight, because Benavidez is a hellacious fighter. He's extremely talented and quick-handed. I love his combinations. He's a good young fighter, strong, and he would bring a lot of relentless pressure, and I think he will bring out a lot of the best abilities that Canelo possesses. Anyway, that confirms it straight from the horse's mouth. How many times they plan on fighting this year, who they are potentially looking at for the May and September dates. So let me know who you think he should go after first. Let me know if you think that the Triple G fight is worth having again. Do you want to see it at 168? Do you think Triple G moving on up one weight division is unfair to him? Or do you think that Canelo Alvarez is right to call all the shots, especially being in the position that he's in right now? What about Jermall Charlo? Why doesn't it seem like David Benavidez is getting a fair shake? What should David Benavidez do in order for him to get everybody's attention and get that shot at Canelo Alvarez? Do you think Benavidez can make the weight properly before moving on up to 175? Or do you think his time at super middleweight is over? Do you think Canelo Alvarez is going to be able to unify the division this year? Is that his goal? And if so, where does that place him in the sport, and what next? Let me know in the comment section below. Like always, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts. I'll be happy to respond and have conversations with y'all. For this and much more boxing content to come, make sure you stay tuned. This is Shay at Keen Meat Boxing Channel, signing out.